In 1985, when I was enjoying my last semester at the University of Texas at Arlington, majoring in city planning, I had a friend who regularly played pool with at the student union at the University of Texas at Arlington. And he and I one day were having one of our usually complex but fun conversations. What I liked about him was that, and I haven't seen him in quite some time, it's been a long time since I left UTA, which is 1985. What I liked was that he and I had different views, but we could always talk about them civilly over pool and beer. Because we had a lot more in common than what we disagreed about. He thought apartheid in South Africa was a good thing, was okay. I'm serious. Now, keep in mind what I'm telling you. And this is why this channel is Zenny62. Because regardless of what I look like, or attached to how age is supposed to look, I was born August 4th, 1962. This is 2017. That was 1985. And he, white male, about, I believe at the time 26 or 27. He started college a little later, started a family. Anyway, he actually had this idea. Now, today, there are any number of people who would have taken up arms of some type against him. That was not in my head. What was in my mind at the time was simply to talk to my friend over pool about why it was wrong to have one group or allow one group to put down or enslave another. This wasn't the only conversation we had. This was through the course of time. This is over a year. But what was so great about taking the time to do that, patiently and with much respect, was that on the very week that I was about to leave UTA and attend Berkeley in the fall, he said, you know, I want to thank you for talking with me because you made me see a different way, and now I understand why apartheid is bad. Somewhere along the way, our current president, Donald Trump, didn't get that message. He didn't get the message that it's wrong to allow a person to be in a situation where they feel that another person can enslave them or take away their simple constitutional rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Somewhere along the way, Donald Trump didn't get that message along the path toward achieving what he wants for himself. In this instance, the President of the United States. He used and continues to use a minority of people that by thought, more than by skin color, believe that people who don't look like them should be in some kind of way enslaved or worse. Now I'm talking about white supremacists and neo-Nazis. This is a trick to Donald Trump. He believes much of it, but for two sole purposes. First of all, ensuring that he has a social media base, A, and B, obstructing any news media organization indirectly from paying attention to the swirl of stories around the notion, the very powerful assertion, that Donald Trump conspired with the Russian government to become president of the United States. It's a dangerous game that ultimately Donald Trump can't win either way. If the Russia investigation continues, eventually something will be found. He continues having our attention thrown in another direction, and he wrecks the country. Apparently he's chosen this direction, hoping he won't pivot back the other way, although I don't believe he's thought that through. Regardless, the simple fact of the matter is, we cannot have a person, and I never thought I'd say this in my entire life, as President of the United States, who is quite literally using the country and the presidential bully pulpit for his own interests and to wreck the country in the process. Donald Trump must resign. And I don't feel good saying that either. It makes me want to cry. Because this is a wonderful country, and if you want to find out how great it is, go someplace else. I really mean that. America is the one place where you can not only dream to be CEO of a company, but you can achieve it. And now, today, we have a number of examples of people who are African American, some female, some not, some male. You can either be male or female, right? Okay, I'm going to say in this statement, but never mind, it's another subject, okay? But the bottom line is, they have achieved that level of CEO, running a company. Ken Chernow at American Express, for a long time, CEO of one of the great companies in America, in the world, really. And when we now know about CEO of Xerox and Merck and others. We just had 8 years of one of the great presidents in history, Barack Obama. And I remember like it was yesterday how happy not just America was, but the world, that we elected our first African American president. The standard bearer, the leader of the free world. Think about that. The leader of the free world. The leader of the free world. Repeat after me again. The leader of the free world. Every American president since World War II has been regarded as the leader of the free world. When Donald Trump was elected, he inherited that mantle. He didn't build into it. It was there for him. It's there for anyone who is elected president. But the underlying rule, the unwritten rule, is that you're not supposed to damage that title. Donald Trump has done everything he can to damage that title, because being leader of the free world, and basically has said so in his ways, in a number of ways, is not his objective. The trouble is that it's our objective as a country. Being leader of the free world means we do not encourage anyone to have their rights taken from them. We do not encourage others to harm others because of the color of their skin. We do not even indirectly do so, and we do not encourage slavery, and we do not remind anyone of the Holocaust or any other terrible atrocity that's been done to people. My stepfather and my father fought in World War II, and both were honored for their service to our country. When we celebrate Memorial Day, we do so with, in the back of our mind, and sometimes on television, the constant thought of what we call the greatest generation. Those people that fought in the war to maintain American freedom against Nazi tyranny. So here Donald Trump wants to imply that white supremacists and neo-Nazis are just like anyone else. They're not. Racism is a mental illness. We cannot have a president of the United States that has no problem fanning the flame of racism for his own objectives. It will destroy this country in a way we have never seen. We don't need that. Donald Trump simply, for the good of America, must step down. And I say this tearfully and sadly for this reason. And I've said it before. When Donald Trump was on The Apprentice, I wanted to be on The Apprentice. I wanted to be a builder like Donald Trump. I didn't think that Donald Trump was the Donald Trump that ran for president or is in the White House. When the World Trade Center was destroyed, I thought Donald Trump had a fantastic idea for redeveloping it as is. I have been a fan of Donald Trump, the builder, but I am not a fan of Donald Trump, the policymaker. I am not a fan of Donald Trump, the president. And now I say this very sadly, Donald Trump, the president, simply must resign. If that's not going to happen, then he must fundamentally change his approach. And that means he has to have a come to Jesus moment with himself and his family, who is, for the most part, Jewish, or a significant part, and then with the rest of the country. And he has to find it within his heart to give that speech where he says that he is sorry for the damage that he has done, which to this date, not even a year into his presidency, has been considerable. But if that's not in his mind, if he continues to trot out the idea that he has supporters as if it's equal to the rest of the country, if he can't do that, then yeah, he's got to step down. And the only way to have that happen is via an impeachment. This is up to the Republican Party. We must have a peaceful transition of power, say to Mike Pence. I think personally Mike Pence will be a fantastic president of the United States. He is a fine, honorable, upstanding person from what I've seen at a distance, and respects America and is the best for our country. So that would be just fine. It would be much better than what we have right now. And I don't say this with glee at all. Subscribe to Zenny62 and stay tuned for our live stream tonight with Dr. Death. See ya.